What's happening, people of the world? Welcome to another episode of the Whiskey and Wade Show. This is episode number 24.
Woo!
Woo! And today we are joined by the man who we've been trying to pin down. He's like the El Chapo of freaking Hollywood. We finally got him. The White Ali. Sugar Shane Todd!
Ali McCoy.
Straight off the back of a victory last week.
Yeah.
On the 1-0.
1-0.
And I'm out. I'm out of the game.
Are you out of the game?
Nah, I don't know. I'm a wee bit like, when like Tyson Fury announced his retirement.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm retired, but
keep everyone guessing.
the big boxer could get me out. Like,
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show, can I just say we're also in association with Dragon Claw Whiskey, the number one whiskey in the land, unreal. And don't forget, folks, we have a live podcast coming up on the 24th of March, right? The tickets are only a tenner.
They're selling quick.
They're selling out.
Get
so
them tickets, people.
they're on the link. We're going to have the link in the description. And
in Devonish?
In the Devonish complex.
Unreal for gigs.
Yeah, Sean McComb, Paddy Barnes, and Paddy McDonald.
Listen,
The guests with music by Search Party, our very own.
Yep. And it sounds so well. It went from the small hall to the grand ballroom in one day. So sold out the small hall in one day. We are them.
Yep.
But anyway,
back to Sugar Shane.
So how do you feel after your victory? Do you feel because after we box, our Instagram be's blowing up crazy. Was yours like that?
It was hard. Like, it's like after a big gig, you want to be in the moment and chatting to people, but you also want to check the kind of thing.
Get the picture up.
Share all the good pictures out. But it was, I think because I was so relieved after it, not just to like come through the fight and not really get hurt, but I sort of organised it, did a lot of the organising.
So you couldn't have lost.
Even on the day, there was so much going on, and
The
until
pressure,
as soon as Kieran sang and that was done, I went, it's going to be a great night. I just knew it was going to be a
It
good
ran
night.
so smooth. Like, obviously, we're boxers. We've been to a lot of boxing shows, and it's been more smooth than most boxing shows. There was after one fight was done, straight away the next fight was in. There wasn't any.
We
wait
had to slow it down.
We had to slow it down. See, and obviously that was their first time running a boxing event.
Yeah.
So because the tickets had been sold out, one of the crew would come up to me and he was like, "Oh, they're going slow. Let's wait for them to come in." But that's not the way boxing shows are. People usually stand at the bar for the early fights and then come in for the big ones.
Yeah.
So they were holding it back, and then eventually people did come in. But then the way it was going like clockwork so much, Dino says to me, "Can you get in and do a wee bit of ad-libbing before?"
Yeah.
Started talking shit about you.
I don't know. I was like, I don't want to have two fights
So
tonight.
give me that gum, Shane. Shane, put the roll back.
I was out riled up. Sean was holding me back. I said, I'll step up the heavyweight. I don't give a fuck.
Shane, I know you'd beat him. You know you'd beat him. Just leave it.
Were you nervous at all?
Me, Sean, and Dave.
Dave's involved.
Dave
Was I nervous? Yeah, I was, but not right up and just when I was waiting to go on. So see, before I'm like this with stand up. If it's a big show in the likes of an Ulster Hall, I don't like to be in the venue too long before the fight. See, if you're sitting all day, probably like boxing, you get nervous, you overthink it.
100%.
And everyone's like, I'm not eating on the day of the fight. About an hour before, I was sitting in Nando's with too many plates. I was like, I'm just going to do what I would normally do on the day.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Even playing football, I
your
eat
routine,
just before I play. So I was sitting in our, we had the red team dressing room, blue team dressing room, and I was just sitting in a chair. I didn't get changed into my gear until the break. But 2 hours before, people had the hands wrapped. They were bouncing up and down, and I didn't want to
waste that energy.
Yeah, and I didn't want to go here. You shouldn't. I don't want to give anybody advice.
Because it was your first time as well.
Yeah. So I wasn't nervous until
you were sitting there and look at these these losers warming up.
Guys, when you've been in the boxing game as long as me, here's what I would do. Sean goes to talk to them. I go, no.
Sean, take a seat.
But then me and Johnny were standing. Because we were watching the live stream as well, so I got carried away watching that. I was like, fuck, I have to go and do this. So me and Johnny were standing behind the big door that goes into the ring walks. And you could hear the audience, but only a wee bit. And it was just me and him.
It's daunting, but when you hear the audience.
That's when I got nervous. Because I also hadn't, I never, same as most people didn't, I'd never boxed. Ever. Like, never put on a pair of boxing gloves, done anything like this. So I'd seen nothing of Johnny. Like no clips, no videos.
Yeah, he was very secretive.
Really secretive. And he
was quietly confident.
He played
not quietly, he was blatantly confident. He called himself the Todd father. And
even on podcasts and stuff like that, like he was I just let him when we were doing the face-off. He was more not that he was more confident, but I just let him go. I was like, my plan is for everybody to underestimate me being good at this, so I'll just quietly go about it. But I love the whole training for it.
I was about to ask, did you love the training? People do get addicted to the training.
It was unreal, and when people were talking about it, they would go, the other people involved were like, "Oh, Shane took it so seriously," and you know,
you have to.
You're a competitive guy.
I wouldn't lie about that. I'd be like 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm competitive, but also I don't want to get hurt.
It's not like a charity football match where you can go and have a laugh. You're literally putting yourself. He's doing a 7-week camp pre-season. But though, like, it's not a thing where it's not enjoyable. Well, it is enjoyable afterwards, but you're actually getting in the ring to put yourself in harm's way. Yeah. Like, literally, another human being's trying to knock your block off.
And in front of a crowd.
I know.
Yeah. And from the first time we went to Missile with Sean and did the training, I loved it. Because I loved it because I wasn't like naturally good at it. I'm seeing like I work really hard at stuff most of the time because if I don't pick it up straight away, it annoys me.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to work. Same stand up. Like I never pretend to go. I don't put the. I just show up and get on stage and what I do put loads of work into it. Like, and I would never try and act like I don't.
Yeah, I think you're one of the ones that did put the work in.
Yeah.
Out of anyone I seen, it was just always I seen your face in the training camp. I was like, fuck me, he's putting it in.
Yeah.
But well, I always knew you would because you are so competitive and you enjoy training out of boxing anyway.
Well, I was always doing something like a
sporty,
run or go to the gym or something like that. But this was the first time we're doing drills as well with Sean. Wee mistakes really annoy me, and I was like, fuck, I need to make sure. Even when the week before I was in New York doing a gig, and
you went to Gleason's.
I didn't.
Did you not?
Oh, was that?
Here's the thing.
That was a main.
I worked out with a stand-up. There's a guy who does stand-up and he trains at overthrow. So I went and did a session with him, and then the next morning I saw Gleason's was behind our hotel. So I said to my wife, get a photo of me outside this, and I'll look like I've just done a session there. And everyone's like, do you go to Gleason's? I was like, if anyone had asked me to describe me inside, I couldn't have. Johnny,
I don't even know what it looks like.
Johnny messaged me.
I have a couple of rings and a few bags.
Johnny goes, you doing sessions in New York? I went, did one like that.
I looked at it and I went, what the fuck is called proper hardcore?
But you know what? See, the hard work that you put in, it's like fucking real boxing. It shows in the ring because you look very comfortable in there. And when, not just Johnny, but all the other fights, when they were getting tired, all the stuff that they'd been working on went out the window. But you were able to keep your form and keep everything for the full 3 rounds.
That's Sean, I think.
That was fitness as well. Yeah.
You're very lucky that it was Johnny you were boxing and not me, because I was trying to get it switched after you ditched us that Tuesday. I was like, fuck it, Shane, I'm fighting Shane, but we got it resolved.
I don't know.
I think it was all to do with.
They didn't want to deviate from his training camp. Is that why he didn't come down?
See here, the further I was driving up to Springfield Road, I was like, it's altitude. That's my camp.
See, when you were in New York a week before the fight, I was like, he's going to be jet lagged up Alex when he gets home.
Yeah, well, see, this is how much I put into it. I flew home that morning at about 11:30, 12, and then we were at Holy Trinity at 6.
Fuck.
And I found that real, and I was fine with it. I was like, no, I'm dead on. And then as soon as I pulled on the headgear, and then I was sparring with a guy called Eamon, and as soon as he hit me a couple of times, I went, nah, I'm really gassed here.
It proper does fucking. I've done it before myself, and it proper fucks you over. But it was
so good, the whole thing.
I was reading something that you have Crohn's disease or something. Or
Crohn's, yeah.
Does that not affect boxing? What is Crohn's disease? First of all,
I'm not joking. I don't really know. It's like a real serious thing you have for life.
Right. My uncle has it.
I purposely didn't at the time read. You know when you Google symptoms,
cancer straight away every time.
Yeah, I don't really do that. It's an autoimmune disease, and it's like loads of stuff you be on a spectrum for. You can have it really bad. You can have it good. It can be good and then turn bad or whatever. Mine would be mild now.
And what does it do?
Take medication.
It's just enough to get the DLA, is it?
Yeah. I'm messing Willie Thompson. Like, Willie, help me with this phone.
I'm on the spectrum. Put my mail. You'll get top rate.
Fuck's sake.
For me, so it's like a bowel thing, right? So it can do it can affect so much. It can affect you from like the arse to the throat. anything in there.
Is that why you talk shit so much?
I told you I'm retired. But that doesn't mean you're not safe. So I got it about 8 or 9 years ago. I got diagnosed with. I got my appendix taken out, and then I still kept feeling bad, and I lost loads of weight, and I'm thin anyway. Like, but I lost about 3 stone. I was in the city hospital, and it was looking like pretty grim. And then a bit like the hard work thing, and that I started messing with my diet, and they were like, you know, here's the things that it makes you really tired, saps your energy. You
Can we do that?
Fuck, I must
Tommy has it as well, fuck.
Fuck, I'm getting overmail.
Maybe I gave you a wee dose of it, but yeah, it can be people. I'm pretty lucky where I get an infusion every 8 weeks in the city hospital. Yeah. But it makes me tired quicker. Yeah. But I be on it with like my diet.
I didn't show you on the fucking fight night.
No, but I make sure like I eat the right things, sleep well, don't drink.
My uncle has it, and he never explained it the way you have. He can't drink pints. He has to drink bottles of beer instead.
That's not a definition of what it is.
What's Crohn's disease? Can't go near the pints. You drink bottles.
I can only drink bottles.
Plus, how much would you have to love pints to just keep being like, nah, I won't take it in a bottle?
So maybe he hasn't got it. Maybe he's like you, letting on.
But that's how you get into comedy, though.
Or were you doing it before?
I was doing it before, but it definitely made me more determined to really get into it.
Yeah.
You know, because I had never been like sick before or anything like that. And then I've been doing comedy for 16 years, which is mental. But I remember having that and being in hospital, and it was a Tuesday, and I was getting the drip most of the time, but I had about 2 hours a day where I wasn't on the drip or something like that. And I remember it was like 8 o'clock, and I was like, I could just go to the Empire and ask if they let me on, but I had the like butterfly thing on your arm and I for whatever reason I didn't know there was too many people on the lineup, but that's how much I need stand up, and my first thought was, will this affect me performing? And it hasn't. It could in the future, or it could get worse or anything like that. I've actually on Sunday I have to get a colonoscopy. Have either you
have you ever had that?
No,
I had it once.
Was it sore? Someone actually
loved it.
Someone actually.
It's voluntary.
It's nothing to do with the Crohn's disease. It's just a monthly thing.
Here, you have to let off steam. The boxing stuff.
But apparently, some boxers get it because you lose about 2-3 kilo getting it done because it cleans out your system.
Oh yeah.
But I've never got it.
That's the worst. The camera up yours, you're sort of out of it.
I'm talking about something else, am I?
You're thinking of a colonic irrigation. I'm talking about you go in the hospital, they put a camera up your arse, go into your bowel and look around.
Fuck, that's weird.
But that's not the worst part of it. For 2 days before it, you got to drink, what do you call when you drink something that makes you shit?
Oh, laxative.
Laxative. You have to drink a laxative and you have to be totally cleaned out. That's the worst thing I've ever done.
Fuck,
that's the worst part of it.
Did you see Adam Thompson's the other day? Some of them went around.
They were doing colonic irrigations at Thompson's.
No, they spiked everyone in the place with laxative. And there was shit everywhere. Everywhere.
Being serious?
There's videos of it. It's fucking horrendous.
That's like something from a 90s movie.
But you know what? It kind of proves that people don't notice when they get spiked on proper drugs. So they need to watch their drinks a bit better.
But this is like the fucking Ocean's 11 of spiking people.
I know.
How do you get around everybody?
He got around. I mean, you want to see the state of the toilets. Fuck me, there was shit everywhere.
Shit.
We'll show you it after the fucking thing, but it was bad. It was.
Remember the toilet fell in the Kennedy? It was the Kennedy.
Yeah. Shit everywhere again.
But so you get that every
8 weeks. But I'm the reason I'm getting.
And then when does it go up to your OnlyFans?
Here's the thing. See the camera. See the camera they put up you. You can watch it if you want.
You can watch it.
You can watch it. You can watch what they're seeing. The first time I went, it was about 8 years ago to get it done. They went. I'm lying there. You lie on your side, all vulnerable and all. And they go. The nurse went, "Do you want us to stick a TV on?" And I went, "Yeah." I thought she was going to put on like Homes Under the Hammer or something. Then all of a sudden I went, "What are we watching here?" She went, "Oh, that's your insides." I was like,
"What did it look like?"
Put on GMTV. It looked like, the cave in Cave Hill. inside that. It's all dark and all, and then you just
have a light on
you just see the old glue sniffer sitting there.
There's Tuesday's dinner, Thursday's dinner.
No, that's what I'm saying. You've got nothing. You've got, because you drink that stuff, you've got nothing
Clean
inside
system.
you.
Fuck.
You must lose a bit of weight doing that laxative.
Probably. Oh, why?
Wonder
It comes out as liquid.
is it
It's
bad?
horrific.
Me and him were going to do a challenge where we'd knock back a laxative and we sit here, and whoever goes to the toilet first loses and has a forfeit.
Well, when Tyrone says we were gonna do it, he suggested it. I hadn't signed up to it.
Someone actually suggested the forfeit should be a chronic, whatever the fuck it's called.
A clonic
Shane's looking to do this. Let's do a challenge now.
Andrew Ryan did it. Here, I have a Polaroid camera in the car. I shove it up. Whatever. Andrew Ryan did it,
Yeah.
didn't he?
But just for a
Yeah,
Clonic
tackle.
irrigation?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, just for...
Just
Oh, to get
fucking
clean?
cleaned out.
Aaron Butler did it.
People say they feel good out there, like, but I wouldn't do it
That'd be
myself.
unreal.
But yeah, I
I
wouldn't.
remember in the
recommend
Nutty
it.
Professor, get my colon cleansed, and then when they're sitting around at dinner, then they all start farting. But sorry, that's still one of my favorite
Aaron
films.
Butler did Andrew Ryan's.
Really?
He cleansed.
Did he
his
really, or
colon.
you just make it up? No. Is this rumor mill? This is a rumor mill.
He didn't. But I think they went together, didn't they?
No. He just suggested it to him.
Nah, Sean, I think
Nah,
they
Well, when did you start thinking, you know what, comedy's going to be my career path, this is what I'm going to do forever, and I'm starting to get a bit of success?
I wanted to at the very start. So when I started doing it, there was no gigs. Like you were getting into it at the
perfect
golden
time.
age.
Because I had said that the party, I was like, I didn't even know fucking there was a scene here. There was fucking comedy nights every week.
Yeah, it's getting pretty
And he
big.
says you've just come in at the right time. Like it
Definitely.
hasn't been like this before.
And it's also, there's that many people that do it that other people will tell you about where gigs are.
Yeah.
When I got into it, I knew there was the Empire. Didn't want to do my first gig there. So I'm like Googling Belfast comedy nights, and there was one at the Black Box. I think I was 18. And I wasn't like loud, or I'm not like a off stage anyway usually, but I'm not like loud and like I never want to be centre of attention or anything like that. But I just loved stand up so much. I was like, let me give it a go. Just
Yeah, see if
do
we
it
can
once.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll never do it
You
again.
shit yourself the first time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'd shit
I drank
myself.
that stuff, so I was cleaned out. So I went along and it was to do 5 minutes, and I died so bad because I wrote out a script.
The first time you died?
Oh, I was not good at stand up
Why did you
for
go
about
back?
7
then?
years.
Why did you go back after the
Because
first
I
one?
wanted to be good at.
Ballsy.
That's
I
like
wanted
what
to
you
be good
said. Your mentality is always like,
Yeah.
if you're not good at something, you want to
Yeah,
work
yeah,
at
yeah.
it to get good.
I was like, I thought, I know I could be good at this, but I
Yeah.
don't know how to be good at it. And there was not that many people did stand up. Like obviously you've got, you're working closely with Paddy who can advise you on things, and you can ask him. You're going into it totally blind. I wrote out a full word for word script and thought, if I learn this, that will be my set. And I'd never learnt lines before, so about 2 lines in I forgot. And I had to like go and get my notebook. Now when I was yeah, that's what I did. I got my notebook out on stage, and when I was 18, I looked 14.
Yeah.
So that's how I got away with it, because
Yeah,
the audience
they-
were like,
give him a
it's like
chance,
watching
yeah.
someone's son up there having a
God love him.
yeah, he's trying.
Well, probably got a stand ovation.
Look at him, he's got Crohn's disease.
He's on the spectrum for Crohn's.
And it went really bad, but I got some laughs when I was talking about how badly it was going.
Yeah.
And so then in my head I was going, well, my set didn't work, but I did make an
You've got
audience laugh a
something,
bit.
yeah.
And then gradually started doing it a bit more, but there was like 6 months between gigs because I didn't know where there was
Yeah.
stand up. And then started doing it more, and probably success, even things I thought were going to be successful weren't. Like we did, like got a sketch show for BBC Northern Ireland. We got to be in it with some other people. Thought like, this is it. I was like,
You
I'm
made
on
it.
TV now, and that's when TV was king.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
no, there was nothing online really. So it was me, Colin Geddes, Mickey Bartlett, Aisling B, a few other people, and we were like, this is it. And it tanked. It's so bad.
Reason.
And I built myself up. I was like, I'm going to be on a higher tier after this of stand up. And then again, there was more wee TV things, but I don't know. My stand up just wasn't good for, and there's probably people watching on still as me, but like it took a long time for me to go, I can just be me on stage. I was trying to
Be something
impersonate
else.
other
Yeah,
comedians, not do their material, but be
Yeah,
like
be
them or
like them,
deliver the
yeah.
style like them. And then the older I got, the more I was like, oh no, well, I'll just be me then. And then when I did that, things started working out way better.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the last about 3, maybe 4 years, you've started getting really fucking big.
It's probably lockdown kicked it all up a notch.
Right.
Because I went full time maybe 7 years ago, and when lockdown happened, we were expecting a baby. We had our first house, and I had no work, obviously, and I was fully prepared to like go and do anything, you know, deliveries or whatever it is. And then we had a box room, a spare room, and I thought, I'll set up a studio type thing here. I'll do this for maybe a few weeks, and if it's not working, I'll get what you would call a proper job. I didn't mind the idea of that at all, because there's people like other stand-ups who were like, we couldn't go and do that. It's like, but if you have a family, like you have bills, you have to. Like we all started doing work. We're spoiled doing this sort of unbelievable job. Yeah. So I started doing the podcast from home, and then what I was doing is taking old clips and sketches that I'd done over the years, and I was editing them down, because now everything with TikTok's like, you know, a minute, 30 seconds. Back in the day, you'd do a 12-minute sketch and wouldn't think twice about it. So I was cutting those into 1 minute and putting them out. And people who were following me then didn't know me back then, so they're seeing them for the first time. Yeah. And I was filming new stuff with taught myself how to shoot stuff, and you know, live streaming colonoscopies, all that kind of thing. And then it's just, then I was like, okay. And then I would get companies coming to me and going, would you shoot a wee 30-second sketch for this? Like, off the top of my head, the Bot, when they were doing deliveries, they were bringing booze to people.
The cocktails.
And car dealerships. There was wee small things, and there was enough just to keep it all going. So I think that was either a point where it was like sink or swim, and I threw myself into it.
And then you got to such a level, you're open up for fucking Kevin Hart.
Oh, aye.
How did that feel?
I was talking to Colin Geddes about that recently, because we did the shows together, and it didn't feel real, because it wasn't. After the first couple, it was still exciting.
Trying to say. It was
but it became so normal.
Yeah,
it was just.
He's done loads of shows with him, didn't he?
24. Who's counting?
Shows.
We would do like, you'd show up at the Limelight. You would never meet him though.
Oh really?
Did you know this? That we didn't meet him until the last two shows, which were the arenas, Belfast and Dublin. Never met him. Never anything.
And what was it that in Belfast and Dublin? It was just like a quick meet, like.
No, it was proper, like, nice chat, and he looked after us. But the shows, what would happen is we'd show up, go on stage. He wouldn't be in the venue because he was filming all day. So he would arrive and we were already on stage, and then I would get a flashlight from the side of the stage that means he's ready to go on. And the first couple of times I just stopped what I was doing and went to Kevin Hart, but then he fed back through other people, through Dino. He went, Kevin says, he's like, stand up too, like, finish your bit, you know, finish your bit. So I knew he was sound, but he just had his way of working, which was, he has got a circle.
Yeah, he's huge, like, so he's
Big
probably melted with most people.
It must be a thing with comedians and boxing, because when he was here, he was boxing away with a friend of ours in the gym, with Ray Kinley.
Well, they're all comedy, you're trying to be boxers, and boxers trying to be comedians.
I think the two scenes have a lot in common, and that's why they work together really well.
Like, somebody from Kevin's camp sent a message to Ray Kinley and says, we want someone who can train boxing. That's the only kind of training he was interested in.
Yep.
So that's similar to you now. So when he comes back, you and him go to the gym, you can have a spar.
Our scene's too fucking good.
I was, because I remember seeing him boxing and being like, you know, obviously he's very short, but then I've seen he looks really good.
Well, Philadelphia is like a boxing city.
He does. He must have boxed when he was a kid.
Everyone there.
But the gigs were nuts. But quickly it just became like because there was so many of them. Yeah. Quickly we were like, oh, it's just. It wasn't as mental after a while.
So the 20 gigs or 24 gigs, sorry. were they all here, or did he bring you like around the UK?
They were all here, and then the last two he did 3 Arena in Dublin and the SSE.
Right. So where were all the other ones? Just
Limelight and Lavery's.
24 times or 20 times in Limelight and Lavery's?
Yep. Fuck, that's what I mean. It's because you were going to the same venue. Yeah. I was doing the same thing. I'd always go Nando's at the same time before. I like routine, like, so I go to the same time, same place.
Do you have superstitions in
Yeah, but I'm not tied to them to the point where if I didn't get to do it, it wouldn't ruin my night.
See, that's what I used to have superstitions. in
Like
boxing.
what?
Like putting on certain socks for fights. Like I had to wear particular socks and do certain stuff during the day. And then I went to mental strength coach and they were like, you need to stop that because if it doesn't happen, you can't find your socks. Then you're fucked for the fight. So I have no superstitions now. I just leave it.
I was the same, and it's because I had to say it was a sports psychologist in Dublin. It was like you need to have triggers. So if you pull on your left sock or you pull on your right glove every time.
I might have beat Johnny Bow, but that can got me. Sorry, I went the wrong way. It hurt me more than Johnny did. I tried, go ahead.
Relax a little bit. No, but I understand if you put on a red glove every single time and you're always brilliant, whatever you've done on your best performance, do that every time because they're triggers for your brain. But then when I spoke with someone else, they were like, "Listen, let go of all that because that's all meaningless."
Did you have a superstition in boxing?
No, I don't think so.
You look very confident coming out, to be honest.
You see, my mouth guard was so big, right? I think you and Dave at the start were like, he maybe looks a wee bit nervous.
Yeah. I see the whole time, most of my thing was just anti.
Yeah. No, it was like a panto thing, I get that. But yeah, I was confident as soon as... I wasn't confident until I threw my first punch. And then I went, I think this will be all right. Because for all I knew, Johnny was going to knock me out in the first 10 seconds.
Johnny was very confident, and I spoke with him before the fight in the changing room, and he seemed like he was buzzing for it.
Yeah,
when he actually come out flying,
he did
in the first
until
30 seconds,
and
then he started taking over, and then my wife was in the same, and she was going, "Oh fuck, what's wrong?" And he's trying to jump out because he was trying to take the gloves off, and there was like confusion. I know.
Yeah.
He's going to send you a bill for it.
He did. He was wobbled, but
he was.
But I said on podcasts and stuff, I think he'll sit back. So that he wouldn't. Because I knew if I said that enough, he'd do the opposite. So when he started coming at me, I went, right, well, that's
Mourinho.
Huh?
Mourinho.
Yeah, yes. I am the special one. But I honestly, because that's what I like doing in training and sparring, was like, sort of counter, being
defensive. Did you all
and
spar each other, or did Sean bring in boxers?
No, they sparred amateurs. The amateurs.
Did this?
See, the first time we went to Holy Trinity, right? I didn't know. I'd never, obviously, like as I said, I'd never been in a boxing gym. Don't like to fight. Never. The only thing before would be the odd like scrap playing football, and even then it's not punches. It's silly. Yeah, silly stuff like
banging chest.
And even if there was a big brawl in football, I would always, I was marking, I'd always go hamstring. I'd always say, we don't need to win this, and I'd always talk to them and go, we're all right here. I don't like it.
See, but I heard you were a messer in school. A big, well, there's word in the street.
We spoke to a fellow from went to school. You were nameless. But David said you were probably terrorising the place. Who?
Do you say Dave?
David.
A
fellow called David
said you were a torment in school. So
that's not true.
He did. He said you terrorised the place.
Teachers,
do you know what? Part of me loves that because it's not true. But then there's part of me like, I like that rumour. I was a fucking nerd. The only thing was terrorising with my own head.
Did you ever get scrapped in school?
No, not yet. One fight in school which I thought was going to be good, and it was just sad.
Did you win?
No, it was just... No one had a close... It was the shittest thing you've ever seen. Once I challenged a guy when I was in the wrestling in first year, I challenged a guy to an I Quit match, and I challenged him to it, and I quit within about 4 seconds. He had me... I know.
What the fuck school do you go to? Huh? That's having an I Quit match.
Oh, sorry, it was a Royal Rumble.
So you lost to our Rumble, you lost the I Quit match.
Yep.
You lost the third day.
I say I'm 1-0. I'm 1-2.
No, this was you rewriting all around 20 years.
No, I wasn't a messer in school at all. But when we went into Holy Trinity, I didn't know what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
And there was all the kids there. And I remember sort of, because there's so much going on, like there's loads of classes happening.
It's such a big gym too.
Yeah, and all the noise. So I just made a beeline for upstairs where all the comedians were. And then I stopped, and there was a kid who must have been 8 or 9. Hitting pads, and I just thought, thank fuck I'm not fighting him. And he wasn't like, I thought he'd be all like messing about. See the no, see, ha ha ha. I walked past him like that. I was like, fuck it, he'd murder me.
Yeah.
And I thought when we got told, we didn't know we were sparring
boxers,
amateurs, but juniors. And I thought, well, they're going to want to try and knock us all out, with other mates, and I'd get that, and they'll be, taking the piss, which is what we said they should be. But I've never seen more like discipline in one place and respect.
Yeah. That's what boxing does. Like it does.
But every kid in that place that you walk past, or we were getting changed if anyone walked past, to chat to you. Weren't just like saying hello, oh, what's crack, what are you doing here? And then I'm interested. And then when we got in with them, I was proper scared, like. But they were obviously holding back.
Yeah.
And they've been briefed basically.
Yeah, just to take his round.
But it was good back and forth. And then afterwards, I'm going, what do you think I should be working on here? And so it was good for that. And then the next time, it was one of the seniors. And I thought he's going to be holding back. And he's right in the nose at the start. He's called Eamon. His sister Lisa works for Shine on the night. So there's a bit of a link. And I know him through a friend.
Does Lisa like you? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it makes you knock Shane's content.
But he was going, as soon as he did that, I was more calm, because I was like, right, well, he's already hit me now.
Yeah.
So people have this big false perception on when you get punched that
they're so afraid.
Yeah. No, the only time
not that it doesn't hurt, but it's bearable.
It's only on when it's flush on the nose, makes you, oh right, okay, but the adrenaline's pumping so much that I wouldn't say.
I am saying that when you have 8-ounce gloves on, big fucking, it's a bit different in the pro game.
Yeah.
But with them, the gloves you were wearing, was it 16 ounce?
16 ounce.
Like, it's hard to get proper hurt in them.
Yeah.
Next time I should take a head guards off and put 10s on.
And want tops off.
Tops off as well.
On.
This is my main thing. My face is my main thing.
Your draw is how good you are.
Yeah.
Shane, you look like everyone, so
I know. See, everyone who's coming into the carpet, or Shane, and I swear to God,
I'm not joking, right? I was in Edinburgh doing shows, and a guy with a professional camera walked up to me and went, "Alright, mate, would you be able to?" And then he goes, "Oh, you are you?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You are you?" He said, he's from here, right? He was in Edinburgh. He goes, "I'm out doing a photography project." He went, "I was going to take a photo of you because I thought you looked like you, and I was going to send it to you, but it's mental that you are you." And I was so confused. I went, "Take a photo anyway." And I stood like in the castle, and he took a photo. But yeah, I just have one of those faces.
You do, like everyone you throw up and look at him, like, it actually does look like him. And see the guy who walked in today, he was a fucking butler.
He was.
We were ready to jump.
Tell me, Shane, I was reading this thing about you're a friggin' diehard for old school rave.
Yeah. Well. I said yeah. Listening to it, yeah. The actual raves.
No, just in the car, just.
Here's the thing about me. I'd live stream a rave, but I wouldn't go to it.
Why not?
It was because that real like early mid 90s dance is what I really like, but I obviously wouldn't have been going out age then. Yeah. So when I was going out, that wasn't the music. So I love that music, and especially like if I'm working out or listening to it. Then me and Dave did a radio show in Radio Ulster called the Rave Lockdown, where actually I was able to play all that stuff. Yeah. But going out, I don't know. I think because I was going out to do stand up, I was always driving, so I just got into the way of that. And then since having the kids, the idea of being hungover and looking after the kids.
Have you never really drank now?
Once. Since kids came? Once, and I'm done.
What was that, a christening or something?
It was a homestag for a mate, and the weather was unreal, and we're sitting outside in a beer garden, and I hadn't drank in ages, and I was drinking pints of Guinness, and I was keeping up with my mate, who can really knock him back. Yeah. But the crack was so good, and the novelty of it, I wasn't thinking about what I was drinking, and it was so good. And then I went, right, boys, I'm going to walk home, and it was about, I'd say, 3 mile walk, and I just got out of the place, and my mate brought the car around. He went, "I'll leave you up," and I went, I'm grand. I couldn't have walked another few. As soon as I got home, sick everywhere. You know, the like head in the bucket kind of thing. And I was, for 3 days, like I was in bits, so that's put me off.
Guinness it's only 4.5% or something like that. It's not as strong as a lot of things, but it fucks you up.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's easy drunk too. Like.
Yeah, it is. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Me and him had a competition there on a Sunday who can drink the most in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
For Patreon viewers.
It was a 5 pints I got in.
Tyrone, don't be revealing the results.
Sorry.
How did you, because that was in such a short space, how did you feel? Were you blitzed?
Why?
I was full as fuck before, you know, like I had
We had to be warm up paint before as well. Just to...
I was full. I was really full going down there. I didn't eat that morning because the night before I had a takeaway and I was fucking busted.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I was like, I'm not going to be knocking these paints back because I'm too full.
Yeah.
And I was knocking them back, and then after I was like, fuck me, I need to go to the toilet and be sick because it wasn't because I was drunk, it was because I was so full.
But you had a pre. That's like going into war and going to your mate, shoot me in the leg. I suppose. Need to do that. Do you drink doing stand up? You ever?
Nah, never. Because I don't want to be slurring my words and all, and I want everyone to understand me.
See, Tommy, he's a bad slur.
I'm a bad slur.
Plus, that starts a superstition. That's a main superstition I see with stand-ups is needing a pint before you go on.
Yeah, and do you know?
And then if you're rushed getting to the venue and you can't,
you're fucked. Tell me, Shane, what happened with your original podcast?
Well, you're arranging a hit because you keep passing the phone back and forth.
I know it's his phone, but it keeps on going.
He's here in the highlight.
It keeps on going off during the fucking
Johnny
podcast.
Bow and his dad.
It's very fucking unprofessional, Tommy.
But what happened with your original podcast with Dave Elliott?
Dave, we did that years ago. Like when podcasts weren't, especially in Northern Ireland, like weren't popular really at all. It was just, it was the wrong time to be doing it. It was before, like, you weren't sharing clips. It was, you'd put the episode on YouTube, but you had nowhere to put clips, which obviously enticed people in. So we started doing that in his house, Boytown, because me and Dave were in LA, and there was an area of LA called Boys Town, and we loved it and went, that's a good name for a podcast. And we did it for probably like 4 years, maybe more.
It's not long,
There was a few hits from that
one. Viral type.
Like the Master Night thing from the live one.
We used to. Here's part of the reason why we couldn't keep doing
do
it.
Live shows.
Oh yeah. Now, not like I think the biggest one we did was Strand Cinema to like 80 people.
Still, fuck.
But like no one, like the live podcast was a hard sell back then, you know.
Yeah.
But so we used to. Here's part of the reason why we can't do it, and it's a shame. And Dave was like, "Oh, come on." We used to do a thing called Tweet Back on it, where I would take his phone, put a tweet out, and he'd do it to me. But it was never set up. People were going, "Do you just run that by each other?" We didn't, and you would see us sometimes go white as a sheet. We did a live one on the Black Box, and Martin Rogan, boxer. I made Dave call out Marty Rogan. He goes, "Listen, I'd knock you out. I'd love to run into you in public." And like,
he
wouldn't know Dave back then was a stand-up.
Yeah.
So he'd say, and Dave had to put that tweet out and then put his phone away for the rest of the night. Dave was, anyone who walked in the Black Box, Dave was shitting
Martin
himself.
Rogan did go to Derry to confront
someone.
Yeah.
So and it was like, we'd always be putting together, like he would always make me be like putting on these bespoke events, is what I call them. And one was like, what was it, like Peace in the Park?
No, it was an influencers.
Oh, there was the influencers brunch, and it would be like he'd make me tag like 3 influencers, and then like Jerry Adams. You know what I mean? It was always like there'd always be shouts from left field, and we'd make posters for each other, and it got to the point where people thought they were real, and there was politics involved, and I was like, I couldn't then relax, and same with him, we couldn't relax doing the rest of the podcast because it was
just not
much.
maybe have just cut out that segment.
No, well, and then we used to do a thing called phone call, where you'd make each other do a phone call, and it was usually phoning hotels. But the Master Life thing was, I had to phone a hotel saying I left an ankle bracelet, and we'd look for it. And Dave, during it, you'd mute it, and you get more feedback from the other person. Dave went, when they ask you, I wanted to put on, he said, a light show in Dublin in a hotel in a function room. And I said, what do you mean a light show? And he went, just like a show that involves loads of lights. And I went, but that don't know what that means. He went, you have to tell them what it means. So I was like, fuck. And he went, your name is Masterlight. So if they ask me your name, it's Masterlight. And the woman asked me to spell it out, and I spelled it out. And there's a live audience, like trying not to laugh. And it was such a good feeling.
Good.
But I spelt it totally the wrong. You'd always. It's not funny, but like you'd spell it the wrong way, and I was putting numbers and stuff into it. It was like a Masterlight, like MAS 3, and it's this. It was the silliest podcast, but it was brilliant. But then we were recording it in Hollywood, and it was me, Dave, and Ben was producing it, and we didn't have a set time every week. And you know what it's like. Probably just the two of you to try. Sometimes you're like, fuck, I can't do this night, I can't do that night. And there was a few nights where I was eating my dinner in the car, driving down, and then I had to get home for the baby. And he had kids, so it just didn't work out.
So, like, see, after that one finished, when did you start doing Tea With Me?
Well, we'd both during that, towards the end of that, started doing our own podcast anyway. And I was doing the Shane Todd cast. Great name, not a great podcast. It was just, I'd put one, it was weekly every Wednesday, but I'd do one and then forget for 2 weeks and then...
Right, so you didn't have the consistency.
Didn't have the discipline or the consistency for it. And then Tea With Me, can't remember how or why that started, but the idea was I still want to do my own podcast. I like drinking tea with people and having a chat. So we used the same Boytown studio, and if you see the first few video episodes, the place is literally falling apart. It was the worst health and safety place ever. And got another studio after that, and then just, I think we went like early doors, we went all in on it. Me, Dan, and Michael. So Dan produces it, Michael does all the video, and we went, let's pick a day every week, Friday. Every Friday, no matter what, we're in the studio doing the episodes, and as soon as we did that, started paying off a wee bit. Yeah.
Maybe in a few years you'll get big enough that you'll get the likes of James Nesbitt and stuff on.
Do you want to go there?
How did that feel?
First of all, stop laughing, both of you. Right? Don't look at me like that. I'm getting riled up big time here, Sean. Sean, stand up. What was your question? How did that feel?
Yeah. Like it felt like
it felt like you've been trying to court a lady for a long time. In fact, not for a long time, for years. And she said, I will go with you. And you're going, brilliant, when do you want? And then
you see her wedding pictures.
And it's like
4 bottled by whiskey and wine.
It's like you go on Facebook and see that she's going out with 2 fellas, and it's you two.
Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't even know how much you were invested in getting him until he come on. And every comment, Shane Todd's rating, Shane Todd's Ryan,
on every platform. I just like, Shane Todd's gonna fucking murder
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I was going, what the fuck?
So I've had a long run of thing. It's him and Van Morrison, where I'm always talking about them coming on the podcast and that kind of thing. And I had Nesbitt, and then he couldn't do it. This was about a year ago. There was a filming thing. And then on the live podcast in the Waterfront, I got everyone to say, I looked at the camera pretending it was just me, and I was like, right, Jimmy, just a quick one here, do us a favour. And then everyone went, do the podcast. And he was like, yes, mate, 100%. And Nez was he's like, yes, 100%. And I was like, lads, I've said the phrase in our Team Me WhatsApp group 19 times. We've got Nesbitt. You say I'm elusive. Nesbitt's like, who was that guy that lived on the border who used to have the diesel?
Why did everybody look at me?
You look like the type who would know that kind of
because your brother will know him. He's like a border, you know what I mean? Like it's like a most.
His brother actually mentioned it last week. You weren't on. His brother mentioned the diesel. Did you get it?
So he did, right? That's right.
But anyway, go ahead.
But no, it's one of those things. Getting Nesbitt on has become a bit of a joke. I 1,000%, bit like the boxing. I could go, lads, I don't want Nesbitt on.
Yeah,
I want Nesbitt on, and that did hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It was just almost like
it didn't
just by chances that I was in a bar and he walked in.
Oh,
but
shocker!
I wasn't drinking.
So you're missing out not drinking.
I know you need to get into it. Social
Me back on the
Save your podcast and maybe Guinness with me.
Yeah.
I know.
Beer.
We
had a tin of harp sitting waiting for him.
Maybe it's a power thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows.
You think I'm too keen?
Maybe he's just like,
yes.
I know how much he wants it.
Yeah. I'm so thirsty for it. Like, Jimmy!
You were more or less our Jimmy Nesbitt for a while. We can't say his con. We can't say we got him.
You don't know how many fucking times we've said on this podcast, we've got Shane Todd.
And then he doesn't turn up.
So hold on, I got cold feet. Great joke. So what happened? You ran into him in a bar and what? What bar was this?
He was doing stand-up for
No, it wasn't even. I was out to present gifts for a raffle for Peak Physique. So I wasn't drinking or anything. And what do you call that bar?
Don't know.
It used to be the Albany on Lisburn Road.
Oh, the Doyen?
No, not that one.
No, it's not. as
The
far as-
Bowery, right? And he just walked through the door. It's me, fucker, Jimmy Nesbitt. And I was sitting like close to the door. And the fellow who was sitting beside me was me, come up and take a photo. I'm going to ask him to come on a podcast. I was like, no, you're not. And I was like, the fucking ready I am. So I walked up, it's me, well, Jimmy, and I know he's a boxing fan. It's me. I'm Tommy McCarthy. I do a podcast with Tyrone McKenna. So I thought he would recognise the names, no, just through boxing.
Because I have been on some shows that he's actually been at.
Yeah.
Because Frampton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's the Frampton state?
Yep.
And so I said, and he just went, like, so fuck. Well, why did he come on the podcast? And he's like, right, okay. Started telling me his email address. And he shouted at me about 4 or 5 times. And I was going, hold on, let me write it down. And he's like, for fuck's sake,
Give it to me.
I'm not. Comes at him. And he's like, Tommy, I'm going to tell you one more time. I remember your fucking name. Remember the email. Just be right, I've got it.
It's good accent.
And then I emailed him. I left it a couple of days.
Oh, yeah,
because he was drinking.
That's a mistake we made. He'd still be there, and I'd have emailed him. Subject line, please, Jimmy.
He had to start deleting emails that he sent you.
I know. I was mailing him like fucking. I look like a fucking stalker.
I was away last week and I checked it. I was like, I wonder how the boxing night's going. And I fucking got up the live stream and I just saw Tommy going, fuck Shane. I was like, here it's going well.
Someone goes, we were sort of in and out of the dressing room, and someone went, Tommy was in there, he's getting at you, he was getting at your podcast, he was talking about Jimmy Nesbitt. I went, he wouldn't be, because he's just introducing the fighters, he wouldn't be.
I was doing the ad. I was out there afraid that I'd see commend your performance all with a slag Johnny too. Hopefully he took. Obviously comedians can take a slagging because they're in the business of slagging.
If you can't, you shouldn't be doing it.
I said, Johnny, if you had a fucking bail up Shane, your profile went through the roof. Every show would have been so lit, but you fucked it. So hard luck. I mean, what about Shane? Will come on the podcast? Then everyone started booing.
Yeah,
Like,
so we're getting booze.
it must be. He must hold against us because we got Jimmy Nesbitt.
You started going robbing me and Dave looked at you and you're like, the fuck's he doing? You had a meltdown in the fucking ring.
But I kept looking at Dino. Dino's going,
I text Dave, you should have smacked it. If you were my mate.
The Jimmy
he's still holding it against you, so you went out on your own. He's still waiting on Boytown fucking restarting.
You know,
He's saying fuck you. Does that annoy? Is that
I
what
took her to the fucking boy zone.
Does Dave hold that against you? The team with me is like fucking took off and
Huge.
Boytown was just left.
No, because I think we were both going sort of not a waste of our time. We were not getting anything out of it really, and would stop doing it a couple of times and then come back to it. But you know, sometimes you leave a podcast and start a new one. These things happen.
Do you know? I don't know. Do you?
He's sweating on your ass.
Yeah,
This
but
guy was
listen,
good, like,
it happens. It happens. Do you know what the thing is? Me and Sean, we're in a. Me and Sean have
An open relationship.
no. Yeah.
You can see other podcasts.
Listen, once you go black, you don't go back, and that's just that. But
Don't even get any idea. Don't be letting Shane come in between us.
no, but listen, see me and Sean.
You and Sean, lads, spend their
here.
bricks.
It's like a politician on question time.
I right back to you, Shane.
No.
Everything was training. Go ahead, let's do it.
You're a cunt. Right, anyway, me and Sean, he's a comedian and a boxer, but I was always away and I always felt bad, like I was letting him down because I was like, I can't do them days. I'm down in Dublin.
back now.
I'm over to Germany. I was over to Thailand. I was getting married, and I was like, fuck, I feel like a dick. I'm letting him down every week. He wanted consistent.
Yeah.
And then with Tommy, being best mate, it's
Don't
easy.
be bringing me in
And
there. You made the decision
it's
on your
easy-
own.
it's
And
easy
you
to let
live
him do
close
it.
to here. No, 100%. See making schedules. Like,
Yeah.
no joke. Like, I know I'm laughing it off, but a couple of weeks ago when I cancelled like an hour before we did,
An hour? I don't know if it was an hour.
It wasn't like
It wasn't like an hour. It was like 10 minutes.
no.
It wasn't like we're all sitting here waiting.
No,
on-
it was-
It wasn't like we had the tea all made.
It was. Oh, you just made me tea.
Fucking everything.
Didn't bring it.
Didn't get tea this week.
We coffee.
We didn't bring it this week.
I'm glad it didn't go then if you brought me coffee. But I felt beyond horrendous about that. I'm not explaining why it was, but obviously to do that, it would take a lot for me. And then I was like, fuck me. And then I'm messaging you going, well, please, let's do it next week. And then when the boxing was on, and people were like, Tommy's out there calling. I was like, I do deserve it.
Yeah, well, I always felt bad and Sean that I had to split him, but I had to.
No,
and I think me and Tommy...
What happened anyway with you and Sean was... It was, like, just the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because you were fucking flat out, you were fighting and all that.
And I was just
in Dublin and all.
So, listen, me and Tommy's, we got a long history as well, so it makes it easier as well.
But Tyrone said, like, fucking... There's just...
He's a bastard.
I know, right? I won't even say anything. But Sean, listen, I'll start a podcast with you.
Aye, fuck off. I'll be weird. That would be weird.
We just circle. Welcome to the 1212 podcast with Tommy McCarthy and Sean. But now Sean's a legend. It's actually Sean is the person who gave me my first gig in stand-up. When I was on the podcast with Emmons.
Right. And, that makes it worse.
I know. He actually looked after him.
I treat you like a son.
He actually, Tommy asked, could you get me a gig? Because I said...
No, I didn't. He said...
I said,
do you want to try anything else? And I said, I want to try everything. And then Tyrone was like, go ahead, you can pick it up.
I said, he's always wanted to try comedy from my wedding. Or from your own wedding, was it?
From my wedding, I'd say. But your wedding actually gave me more belief in it.
Yeah, his speech, epic. It was unbelievable. So
and Sean was saying, do you know, that's all it is. Like, if you can do a wedding speech, you can do stand-up. Yeah. I'll give you 5 minutes, I'll get it sorted.
I personally thought he was going to fucking flop. I proper did. I was nervous for
him. I don't know if he thought so or he was hoping.
Yeah, it was one or the other. But I went up and he's actually really good. And I was like, fuck. And then... I hadn't seen him for about 3 months, and I said, fuck it, I'll go see another show, and went to the local one in Glenone, and he brought the fucking house down. I went,
yeah, he's brilliant doing field. And see, doing field as well, sort of MCing it, you're going out cold. I hate that. Because, you know, people
that wasn't even a field, that was the Christmas.
Oh, yeah, but it's in the Devonish main body.
Right,
in my head, it's a field. Like, but yeah, that's not easy. Like, and you don't... In a venue like that, a show like that, you don't get any like cheap laughs. Like you have to work for any laugh you get.
Like, you see,
you make me worry from Whiskey and White Live now. Damn it, you're fucked.
But the thing with Sean giving me that first 5 minutes, it was up in Coal Island in a DAA club, and it was packed. So all my experiences have all been like them kind of rowdy crowds.
Yeah.
I've only done like maybe 2 gigs where it's like kind of quiet and. So I was getting a laugh, but it's like you're walking out, everyone like waiting on you to start telling jokes. Whereas all the MR gigs, you walk out and everyone's talking black and ready for you to start. Which I prefer, to be honest.
It's nice to do every kind of gig.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have a type where because some people go, well, I can only do like really nice civil gigs, or some people like, I need a bear pit. After time, you want to just be able to walk in and go, well, what is it?
See, in boxing, I always feel like also Hall show, because it's so on top of you, I feel completely different fighting in the Odyssey than I do or in the SSE.
They also feels like there's 10,000 people there. There's only like just under 1,000.
But I think it feels more pressure.
Like, yeah.
Than that's good. In a big arena, because I don't know, I feel more relaxed. I don't know most of the people, but everyone in the Ulster, I know a lot of them. Because they go to every show.
But it's the same as that. Like, I prefer intimate stand-up gigs, small stand-up gigs, because people can see your face. That's so much of it is like your expressions and that kind of thing. Whereas if you're doing an arena, okay, there's screens, but then after a while, people just watch the screens. So you may as well be at home watching.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I seen you was a very intimate one. It was in where was it?
Sauna.
Glasgow. It was in Glasgow. Was that a colonoscopy?
Yeah, it was in the garage in Glasgow. You and Paddy Lawrence.
That was good.
I didn't know what you said.
Did you not? No. Was that a bad day for you?
Yeah, stage was way too high. There's wee things that, like, if I say it, I immediately, and I shouldn't, but I go, for fuck's sake, gets in my head. Stage way too high, audience really low. It was in the nightclub, was in the garage. It was okay, but
it's a very good place now as well. That is the Thompsons.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. Yeah, it is.
How did your stand-up translate over in America? Because you are touring America a lot. Like, do you have to tweak it, or do you just go and do
the slightest bit? So I don't do really. I have before, but I don't do that much stuff about here. Or
but they don't really get sarcasm that good either.
you find it, especially in America, especially in the big cities, not everybody's from America.
Yeah.
Like in New York, not many people are from New York. And same with LA and a few other places. Everyone's from big international audience. So if you're talking about, you know, being Irish in America or being far away from home and all, people get that. No matter who you are, you kind of get that. So I just take out like big references, but that. I don't know, there's not a thing where I go, the audience are totally different. Like, you still have to get up, be funny, and make them laugh.
I always felt like when I was over in America, I used to live there for training camps. I used to say, I'm a sarcastic person. Anything I say is sarcastic, they took it literal.
Yeah.
And I was standing there, are you fucking serious? Like,
yeah.
So I always worry, like, you going over, like, your jokes aren't going to translate.
Yeah, but people do go, must be tough going over there and doing stand-up. As if you go over and open up by going, here, what about Castle Court? Do you ever walk down Castle Street? What about Castle Street? Like, obviously you can't do that.
How did you get into going over to America?
Like, the American thing?
It's just an ambition to go and do it, and applied for a visa. Again, it's one of those things, it's expensive and it takes a long time and you do a lot of work to get it. But
so do you need to get a work visa to go and do comedy over?
Yeah, because you're doing work.
Yeah.
You know, so I got that, but I got it just for COVID, so I got like 6 months out of it, maybe 1 or 2 trips, and then the whole visa was wasted, so I had to reapply.
Oh, shocking.
I got it just before my last tour. It came just in
It's
time.
tough enough to get them visas.
Yeah, massively.
Because I've tried to get one before, and it's very tough.
Yeah, it is. A guy from Ireland who works out there is a lawyer and got it for me, but having that's good because you can go over, everyone's done it, you can go over and do, and you're not, everyone from here would want to go do stand-up out there, and you could just go and do unpaid spots. That's what, if it's not a tour show, that's what I'm doing anyway. Like, I'm not expecting the headline show. I'm going over to do the starting out spots, you know. And you're not getting paid for that, but immigration wouldn't understand that.
Yeah.
They would not, you show up and go, I'm travelling from Ireland to America for a week to work, but I'm not getting paid for it, and this is what I do full time. They wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
But actually, boys would just be going over to do that.
Because there's many times I was pulled into, because obviously I was living over for boxing, but I was getting paid by a guy from London monthly.
Right.
But they didn't understand I was going over to fight, but getting paid by someone from the UK.
Yep.
So I was pulled in numerous times, just they aren't going over, or until you explain everything. Fuck,
I got
it was
it
a neighbour.
once.
It's a neighbour, and it's very intimidating.
Because you start to feel like you're doing something wrong when you're not.
See, any time I've gone, even when I don't get pulled in, I go up to the visa because I feel like I'm
in Dublin.
I'm like, fuck.
Everybody does. Like,
everyone's just panicked walking up there, but fuck it, you get through and you're buzzing. But is that what you're wanting to do? You're wanting to start breaking America and getting bigger in America, or what's the future for Shane and Todd?
I'll push it as much as I can, but I also don't like spending that much time away from home. Like, both my kids are under 3, so
I'd be trying to get away.
I would never
unpaid spots flat out. That's the flat out.
I'm going to Milwaukee for an open spot here. I would never move. I'll never live anywhere else, but I'll do as much as I can without it affecting like family life or anything like that. But I want to see my kids grow up.
Do you need America? Not the way.
No.
Like, artists here don't want to break America. Do you not need that in comedy?
You don't have to.
So could you get a Netflix special by just fucking working in Ireland and the UK?
Yeah, you could.
Get your race done.
Yeah, you could. You don't need to. With the internet, you don't need to be anywhere bar where you live, as long as there's a stand-up scene, and we have the best stand-up scene. But I like going over there, testing myself. It's the gigs are unbelievable. The comedy clubs, I feel like
I love the comedy clubs.
Better every time I come back. You know,
every time I go to New York, I always go to a comedy club every single time. I fucking love them.
Yeah,
there's some setup. There's so many of them as well.
Yeah. How far away are we from a Shane Todd Netflix?
I tried with so I have a special that I shot in America. So what happened was I filmed my opera house shows, multi-camera, spent a lot of money doing it, and it looks unreal. Opera house, best band you've ever played. And then about a week later, I was going to America to do my first tour. So instead of bringing an opener, Willie T was going to go. I brought a videographer and just said, let's just shoot it all. And all the clubs there have like 4 cameras anyway, and they give you the footage.
Oh, really?
So after the first one, I went, every show here, and I'm doing the same tour show I did in Belfast, I go, I've got like what looks like a Netflix special. So I just made a decision, right, I'm going to go all in these shows, and I took all the footage, cut it all up, and I've got the tour show that I did at the Opera House, but it cuts into all the different venues. So halfway through a joke, it might switch from New York to LA, and all the venues are different sizes. They look different. So that's going to be my special.
Yeah.
And we did try with Netflix, but I think they focus on big stars like Ricky Gervais or Dave Chappelle, and they give them like a 10 special deal. So if you're going in as like an unknown or someone like very like not on their radar, it's very difficult now to. But my plan is to, unless something changes between now and then, just put it on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Like, you have the power of, like I said about you before, you're probably the most prolific comedian here because you have the most followers, 100,000 or probably over it now, and everyone knows you. So
Over that.
you have the, you have the power to fucking do it yourself on
Well,
YouTube and
yeah.
still get the views and get the.
And it's the same with podcasts. Look, Patreon has meant that I'm chasing less, like say local TV stuff or anything like that, because that was the only way to get stuff like that out. Now we can do our own
what
stuff.
made Team With Me become like the big thing of what it is now?
It was when they got me on.
Yeah, when you boys came on. I think consistency, like doing it every week, would never miss an episode. The set looks
Is
good.
there a standard episode where like you were getting like fucking such and such views, and then next thing, bang,
There
we got
was
10,000
one
views?
with Kieran and one with Paddy. The first time, maybe the first time Paddy came on, the second or third time Kieran had been on, and the clips from that kind of went big.
Is that the 5 brands?
No, this was way before that. This was when we were in our second studio, and he was the Fegro and the Salou.
Is that the brick wall behind you?
Yep, yep. As soon as that went out, and that was shared a lot, that started getting more eyes on it, and then I put it down to just not missing.
Yeah, just
a week.
consistent. Yeah.
Yep. So if you want like it, and I'm always obviously putting up clips and stuff, and that will do some people's head in, but most people are seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
love
it's
the
hard
clips.
it's hard to ignore.
I'm not big into watching
Yeah,
podcasts.
yeah.
I watch people's
Loads of
clips.
people say it to us as well. Fuck, that was funny as fuck. Did you watch it? Nah, I just seen the wee clip.
Well, we were talking about Netflix specials. When was the last time you watched the full start to finish stand-up special?
Like,
You're more likely to watch clips.
I only, like, obviously I'm a casual fan of stand-up, but there's only a couple of comedians who I'll watch their full,
Yeah,
and
same.
it's my
I'm the
favourites,
same.
like Dave Chappelle
Yep.
and Meg Epps. I think they're brilliant then too.
But I'm the same. I wouldn't watch a full special.
I watched
nowadays.
Ricky Gervais because you recommended it,
that
but
was good.
he copied Dave Chappelle's whole friggin' layout.
But you know what? Do you ever find that with yourself? Like you've came up with this joke, and then someone else has already done something like it.
Oh yeah, loads of times. But the best thing is to not be really defensive about it and go, I'm still doing it. Look into the joke.
Would you still do it?
It depends. I'll look into it and go, how similar is it? And if it's very, very similar, I'll go, well, then.
Because a lot of things happen with everyone.
Yeah.
the
Well,
same-
there's
same
parallel
things.
thinking, but you could have watched a special 8 years ago,
I know.
and then you could be coming up with something. But you just have to have the right people around you to go, here, that's it. There's a special like that. Then you go watch it, and if you need to change it, change it. Or if you think, fuck, I was probably inspired enough by
Yeah.
that it's too similar, then definitely stop doing it.
Have you ever had anyone stealing your material?
Yes.
Who? Do you want to name them?
No. No. I don't want to start something like that. But yeah, of course.
And what way did you confront
React?
them about
Yeah.
it, or
Did you
And what-
confront?
what is the way to
There's
go
a
about it?
glint in your
I
eye.
don't know.
No. It's
It was Johnny and he knocked out his tooth.
What way do you go about that? Do you just send them like a message, or
Yeah.
get on the phone and say, "Here, okay,
I
I've been up in the Trinity the last 8 weeks."
I sent a message. I sent a montage. I sent a message and said, look, I think there's things here that are very similar about these things, and I'm not happy. But I can't remember. But
Yeah.
it was nothing too bad, and it was back and forth, difference of opinion. But
Did
it
they
happens,
change
like.
it, or who changed it?
No, he just
So you
went for
just do
it.
yours and he does his, or she does hers.
Yep. Or but there's a way to go about it, and also the person you're saying you've stolen my thing is well within their rights to go, fuck you, I'm not. That's their opinion that they're not. But there was a whole thing, and there was things threatened. So
Really?
no, not like a physical thing, like a legal.
I thought you left out the physical confrontations.
No, it wasn't me saying I would. It was the other way about.
Okay.
They're gonna let go come.
No. It was potential legal matter.
Alright.
See now that you've done boxing, do you think like you'd be
You
more
welcome the
confident?
threats?
Would you be more confident with people confronting you? No. You still.
sure?
I'm not a
You're
fighter.
like
And I will
every-
never be a fighter. Like.
Like,
No.
You can tell that you don't like an hit because
Yeah.
anytime you punch, you're the only one who's moving the head straight
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Straight away,
Yeah,
you're doing
yeah.
that. Like, this guy does not like it.
No, not at all.
Why would you?
Nothing about like.
but now you know that you can throw a punch correctly, you can defend yourself against a punch, and you've got the fitness to fight consistently for 2 minutes. Now, 2 minutes on a street fight is fucking like a lifetime.
Yeah.
So you could fucking just start
Talk
stealing
about-
jokes like fuck. And then everybody-
What are you saying, Dave?
Me grabbing everyone's set list backstage at Malcolm's. I'll take that.
We've talked enough shit, so we usually have a wee thing at the end of each podcast where we blank one, smack one, or buy one and Dragon Claw, and we give you 3 people. So the 3 people we're going to give you is Dave Elliott,
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart,
Is the first one bang one?
No, you have to
blank one.
blank one.
Thank God.
So ignore someone, blank them.
Yeah.
Buy them a drink,
Dragon Claw.
a Dragon
Or
Claw
smack 'em.
whiskey, or smack them.
Yep.
So we've got Kevin Hart, Dave Elliott, and Sean Haggerty.
Yep.
I'll probably. I hate to do this to my mate Kev, but I'm going to blank him because I know him less than the other 2 boys. So
And he
I'm
was
gonna have
blanking
to.
you the whole 20 shows.
He blanked me for 2 months. So
It's not even your choice to blank him.
I'll blank Kev,
Yeah.
even though he's good mate. He's good mate now. I'll blank Kev. I will. Do you know what? I'll buy Sean a drink because he was part of the boxing. We've got that, and I'll smack Dave.
But Dave was also part of the boxing.
That's true.
Fucking
Fucking now,
just
and now I
insult
think,
injury.
and now I
Fuck
thi-
boy town. Leave with me.
now I think Dave's going to smack me when he sees this shit. I'll smack Dave because he's my best mate, so I think we could recover from it.
Okay.
You know, we could.
That's fair enough.
I don't
I've
know.
smacked Tommy a few times.
Some mate, fuck's sake. You threw boy town in a trash.
And they
Took
smack
team
him?
with me, 100 fucking thousand.
Who are you gonna bang?
You know, which one are you banging?
Dave as well.
Dave again.
Well, thanks for coming on.
No,
Finally.
thanks, boys. Yeah.
It only took 5 times, but he's here in the seat.
Great.
Cheers
Great
for
to
having
have
me,
you.
boys.
Brilliant
Appreciate it.
episode. And once again, like, subscribe,
Get on the
all that shit.
Patreon.
And Patreon's £2 a month.
We've done a good special this weekend for all you Patreoners.
Yep.
And
And
then the more people sign up for your Patreon, the more you're already doing challenges and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The more shit like that.
I know
you're
here,
able to do.
I'm throwing it. It costs good money to get these challenges done. So get on the Patreon, people.
And don't forget to get your tickets. March 24th, the Davenish Complex, live podcast. Paddy McDonald, Sean McComb, Paddy Barnes. Going to be a gig with music from our very own Search Party.
Yep.
So,
See you next week.
rock on, baby.
Cheers, boys.